You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherlands calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pan-African Daily TV this Friday evening. It's rather unfortunate that there's been a lot of delays on my side, and we are not able to get across to our guest for tonight, Mr. Marvin L.G. Gay, who is also actually struggling out there with technical challenges. So it's been really a lot of technical issues. I just decided to come, share it with you, because you would be wondering what is actually happening in the background. I mean, it's 17 minutes after. Of course, I do know that usually we have some technical setbacks, but not like this. So I do apologize so very much. Today we ought to have been talking about the $1 One Africa project, which is initiated by our elder Marvin, and he did that last year at the launch of the Pan-African Daily TV. As everyone was engaged in projects, young people, just like we have the Rapid Africa Plan, like we have the African Modernization Plan, like we have just so many initiatives that came up by the birth or the rebirth or the renaissance of the Africa, particularly on the Pan-African Daily. So these are projects that in the beginning, through our motivation, through our engagement, everyone came up and we have to propose something, the way forward for our young people who want to build legacies that we're going to leave for the next generation. And exactly, our elder Marvin has been really working on this $1 One Africa project, and it's a community project that would actually give every young people or people on the continent and the diaspora the opportunity to contribute and to build the Africa that we want. So Marvin is totally frustrated out there. He's pissed. He's really sad why it will happen today. But we know that nothing happens for us. That is a coincidence. So we're used to all these things. If it didn't work out today, so definitely it's gonna work out better next week. So even tomorrow we had to host Professor James Moore, and we already talked about that project of tomorrow, and we're so excited about it. And guess what? Then I had an SMS in our neighborhood. They're going to be upgrading the networks because of the flood that took place in Germany. So the systems are actually affected, a lot of them. Sometimes we looked at it and we thought it was something that was minor. No, but there is some major consequence due to that flood that took place in Germany. We know, even particularly in some areas like the north of Germany, banks, public institutions have been shut down since the time. They're still trying to retrace. So a lot of internet brokerage, a lot of tech electricity. I'm sorry, I usually just want to say the German words. And so, yes, there's been a big challenge for Germany to recover after this flood, and it just seems like something that came and everybody, we shared those images and all of us were like, oh, wow, there's a catastrophe going out here in Europe. But never did we know that, when this earthquakes, just like Haiti had and others, it takes a long while to balance up. So the waters might have gone, but the systems have been affected, particularly in the Western world where everything is technologized. And so you see the least thing that causes an imbalance, everything falls apart. And that is one of the opportunities that we still have on the continent, even though we're saying that we're underdeveloped, but at least we know, when something happens like this, people are already used to anyway. And so they're used to their bush lamps, they're used to their candlelights at home. they used to not even streaming or this technological how do I say fortschritt? No, it's a German word. This technological world or digital world that we're living in now, it becomes a challenge to adapt, to adjust, to put back the systems to function. So even us, we're going to have that challenge here in our neighborhood. And you have seen in the past weeks, we've been doing a lot of broadcasting because it wasn't possible for us to go live. And then the signal was okay. So it was a trial period, these 2-3 days, and then now again they have to still connect because it's still not really functioning. So yes, these are all challenges that digital world, digital platform, the new world that we're going to be engaging in is going to be putting up all this, these inconveniences. And there we begin to look at the opportunities on the continent, like they don't have, so they don't even lose anything. And so, and because the systems are still, so to say, underdeveloped, people still face-to-face connected. Like today, I was just reminiscing with brother Marvin, and we like, we wish we wouldn't even have to use this. We wish we would just meet, under the African tree, the family tree, all of us will gather, under the mountains, by the rivers, and in the neighborhoods, in the bars on the continent where the world is open. And so we wouldn't have to, go through communication through this way. So it will just be that feel, face to face, touch me, I touch you, hug me, I hug you. So it's not going to be, hey, hello, you have never even felt or smelled me, or me and you. So yes, that also reminds us of these opportunities that we're talking on the continent, that even though we're looking at it as, we have to push our continent forward, development has to take part in this format and in this format, but you can also see that sometimes when it's too developed and the systems cannot cannot hold, when a small challenge comes like the flood, and then you see everything collapse and falls apart. So that's also one of the things that we should not only see Africa in terms of, we have to develop our continent, our people are suffering, our people are in hunger and stuff like that. We also have to see and like, you know what, if the world is crashing through all this technology that we've been in the West, so who's going to be the survival continent? It's going to be Africa. It's going to be the less developed communities as the world is putting it out there, right? Yeah, so that's what is happening on the Pan-African Daily TV. And I want to apologize again for all of you that are connecting on the continent and the diaspora. And I'll just open up the lines today, probably also that maybe would have been the problem, because we've been having in the past 2-3 months a lot of feedbacks and guests and followers like, Dr. Susan, the Pan-African Daily, the lines are not open as usual. People used to call in, share their opinion, contribute to the project, or also add their voices to the development, irrespective of their locations and where they are. So what's going on? And I've been trying to like, yes, we're still trying to put a perfect structure, get a strong network, a satellite that is on, and particularly be on our own hosting platforms like the AfroWorld.tv. And so we can do anything that we want. Why? Because, because of the call-ins, and now we are constantly being on the strike. It's either we're banned or we're suspended, or there's just something that is not adding up because somebody said something live. It's your opinion, but then the Pan-African Daily TV, so always have to show that all this, hey, you did not respect the community standards. You said some words that did not fit, and stuff like that. So all these things streaming from this global platforms, we have to respect some norms. And so when we open up the lines, it's always this challenge that people actually want to express the way they feel. And of course, that's the dream and the goal of the Pan-African Daily TV, just telling it the way it is. But now we understand that we're not dealing in that world. We're not in the reality world like Africa, right? And so you don't need to say so much as comfortable or uncomfortable, to our host or to people that we are loving or parading on their platforms. It's just normal. Of course, people have their homes, they have their businesses, they have their open space that belongs to them, they invest on it, and so they set standards. And so when you come and say, okay, I want to operate here and just I'm using your space and I say what I want. And they consider it that arrogance or you're not towing the line to this. So we have to understand why it is very important for us to get a project like $1 One Africa. And it sounds like Africa with all this big what do we say, diamonds, minerals, resources, a continent that is flowing with milk. I mean, the most blessed continent in the world. And we'll be talking about a $1 One Africa. I mean, of course, we have people that were like, just put something out there and you will see the rich of the rich on the continent in Africa just donate. No, you have seen it. We have seen it. If that was the case, Africa would not be where it is today. We have seen those 20% that are filthily rich, even living in neighborhoods where there are no roads, where the people sleeping on the street, where the health system is collapsing, where people, children are still, suffering from malnutrition or stuff like that. Do they really care? They drive all those big jabs. They go into churches on Sunday and walk past these communities. So it has never been the interest of the top to reach out to the bottom. No, we see it. It's a fact. It's a reality. And that's what I think, and that's what we on the Pan-African Daily TV, we want to work on projects that works for Africa. We've seen, we have heard, we have read, we have hosted all. You bear witness with me, and you see the other day why I was a little bit kind of like, oh no, we have to go now to action. How many decades we've not been hearing this? If we would just start, did not even hear people like Marcus Garvey talked, but just did it. And to today, that legacy is on. And we, most of the time we talk and we just don't see the action. We're still looking for some kind of development when we already have it. We have all the institutions that we need. We have all the networks. We have the organizations, even the new ones that are coming up. We have the youths that have caught up with the time of the past. Yeah, there is nothing just new that no African doesn't know. Of course, we see talking about the brainwash and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, every African knows what it is that could take us to the next step. But then the question, the basics, the fundamental issue is, why is it not working? Why is it not working? Are we aiming too high? And so when we come and sit here and say, oh, the continent of Africa is 1.4 billion. I mean, when we talk of plus inclusive diaspora, the one Africa that we're talking about, and then we are almost at how many? And then we start bringing these big sums. Oh, the United States, only the blacks there, it's a trillion, 3 trillion or 300 trillion, whatever money. And then we go on the continent, we look at the resources, we give some very huge lump sum. It's more than the economy is this. And so what? That's the question. We've heard all this. And to be honest, I still believe all these narratives are still the Western narratives to us African people. Still going through the statistics to say, oh, we have the richest continent. Yes, we do know. If we look at just the nature, like King Maponga will tell you, look at your rivers, look at our mountains, look at our deserts, look at our communities, look at our village, look at the growth of the population, look at the happiness, look at the rate at which the young people are growing, how many percent, look at the arable land. This is not something that somebody even needs to put it in statistics and tell us. Just look at your communities and look at space. And also the lack of this technology that we're talking about. And people connect the most. People talk the most. People relate the most. You go to the village market square. You hear the sound of music. You can negotiate the prices. You see how the price system is built in a typical way where you have to talk to somebody. You must talk to somebody. And these are technicalities. And for me, that's the potential and the power of Africa that nobody's talking about. We keep talking about just some big kind of stuff. Oh, solar has to go there. Futuristic has to go there. Yes, of course, has to. The Africa continental area is now with headquarters and this are partners of Africa. Big talk, big talks. But the basic of what is making the Africa work is the mothers, is the young people that are living their day-to-day life, is the daily engagement and the activities on the continent. It's those people that don't even know that there are some continents or some countries that claim that we're giving developmental aid to the continent of Africa. They've never heard anything like that. They don't have a clue and they don't even bother. But they live their daily life according to their means, according to their knowledge, according to their availability of the resources. So if it means in the villages, in the communities, they go to their farms, and just take the farm to the market and market to the port. It's okay. And they've been living like that for centuries. And they have built communities. They have sent children that are professors, doctors with PhDs. And they're still in that villages. They don't own the bank. They have all the village community homes. No bank is coming to ask them about a mortgage. No. They drink from the rivers. The children play in the woods. Yes, they carry water on their head. We all did it. And they walk 7 kilometers on the farms. That's the way it is. And so that is that potential. Like I said, if you go to the typical African village market, the prices are put in a way that you would have to talk to somebody. So you see that aspect of price negotiation. And so you can see a price tag for just a vegetables, and they would ask it at 500 or say 1,000, 2,000, and you start to negotiate and you give it even a 200. And then you say, in that process of communication, that's how friendships are built. That's how we get to know each other in the community. That's how you know who is who. And they would go to even tell you stories about how they cultivate. Oh, these cocoyams, they're made and they're all organic in this local village market. Or you sit in the bar in the market and you drink fresh palm wine, right? And you crack jokes. And you play cards and you play songo. Songo is this game that, this psychological game that we play here. And they would tell us, they created all that. They did it. Our fathers in the village, our mothers, they do it. In the evening, they will gather in their community's town hall center and they dance to disco and they dance to drums and they dance to music, and they join in the group and they eat in the same bowl with their fingers. And they share and they drink from one cup, passing it from one to the other. Those are the aspects when we talk about our culture, our spirituality that nobody can ever take from us. And so when we come with all these illusions and these big elephant projects, like Dr. Isaac said yesterday on his marvelous show, and it confuses us. It confuses our villages, confuses our people in the village. They don't know. We've had a lot of these projects. Good intention projects. We want to give fresh, clean water to our communities and neighborhoods that have been living for decades, drinking from their stream water and stuff like that. Yes, probably it's not purified, right? We are not ignorant to diseases or some deaths that have been caused by that. Let's face the fact. But they've been living like that. And you see these water supply projects from the West or from NGOs that want to develop, and they build those things. And to be honest with me, in the village where I grew up, it never functioned because people just could not adapt to it. Yes, it was there, the hippie, we have a town, and they ran up, they carried the waters. And after sometimes it got blocked. There was nobody that was trained to continue that project. And people just go back to their rivers, go back to the way they live their life, and life goes on. So what are we talking about? The $1 One Africa project is a community project, and a community project in which if everybody would put into that coffer, so everybody has contributed, and so that spirit of sharing, of building the Africa. So like I grew up seeing about these small groupings, and we call them the local banks, right? And None of them, even at that time, could read and write from the generation of my grandmother. And but they did their bookkeeping, right? They give credits and loan amongst them, and and nobody defaulted those loans. No bank would come and say we are bankrupt. One of them would keep the money, and they would divide the money into amongst them, and whose child is viable, that has to go to school, that doesn't have books and stuff like that. And it worked. And they've been doing it for years and for centuries. Everybody just chip in something, and they come together, and oh, this one has a need, and they give it to it. So that's the concept where our elder, even though born and raised in the diaspora as an enslaved descendant, but has that spirit to say, until we start to do these little things that works for us, we should stop talking about billions, trillion. There's we have banks that are, yes, they do. The structures that are for that are for that. If those structures would have helped liberate Africa or pump money into the system, so much so that we don't borrow from external sources, and then we would not have been sitting here having this conversation. Probably we'll be sharing a concert, or we'll be thinking of going to France to attend a concert with Vazero, where all the Pan-Africans are gathering there to share that liberation concert. We'll be going there. We'll be wasting our time sitting here to educate ourselves on the $1, one Africa. If we would start from the basics, probably we'll go so fast and without even knowing it. But when we want to always think that this Africa has to develop because there has to be a union body, and then those that are talking and agitating has to be the one that will do so, at the end of the day, we always get disappointed. Look at the politicians in which we put all our confidence. Look at the leadership, look at everything. So our concept from the Pan-African Daily TV, from the Africa we want, and all these small groupings that are coming up, is to start one step, and we go further, and we go far, than to sit and talk about the big continent with minerals when we don't even have the technology to tap them. Why do we worry? Shouldn't we be worrying about the soil that is available that we can till and feed ourselves, like we talked about yesterday? Why should I just worry, for damn sake, about a diamond that is blue or purple that is sitting on this under the soils of southern Cameroon? Why? When I know that I don't even have the satellite that is going to touch that diamond. And for decades and decades to come, there are other people monitoring and just only telling me I have something on the ground. It's the same thing, the same concept. Oh, I have something in the sky. If I have to look up, then I will be under this cloud. And so they still come and tell you, oh, there's something under the ground. If we look at Gold Coast, Accra, Ghana, that was its original name. The Gold Coast, today they call it Ghana. And the Gold Coast, why? Because you can see gold. And you see those chiefs, those nana from the community, big, raw gold. I mean, raw gold. It's not even this one that I don't even know what they even dilute and just only fool us with called stones. Stones. And we're crazy about stones. Wow. Stones. Stones. No. I mean, why don't we worry about really the things that matter? Small things that matter. $1, one Africa, simple. And like the brother called one time from South Africa, and like, yes, even the $1, one Africa, $1, one Africa is in America because it's a dollar. So we say £1, one Africa in the UK, €1, one Africa in Europe. Yeah. And then on the continent, one pesa, one Africa, one CFA, one Africa, one whatever currency, Naira, one Africa. And you can imagine, I know us African people, there's nobody that is generous in giving money like the African. I can tell you a lot about how we just give money. Money has never been a problem to an African because we don't even know it. Because we didn't grow with it, we don't know that the more that we give, I mean, in our concept, we give it so you're losing something. It is the people that brought that concept of money that are so stingy with it because they even know the value. For us, it's a paper we give. And I know it because hosting a lot of events in my festivals in Germany, you could see when we started addressing the Africans, and you could see money. But when we addressed all the target groups, You could see they always program. If they're coming for a 1 week festival, and they already budget 100 euros to spend, and they would actually calculate it. Now I have to buy a cup of tea for this. Then I'll have to watch the concert a little bit, and they're so really critically conservative, not to even give it more than they plan. But an African, come on, see them when they are happy. Come and see us when we're happy. We have this thing that, in West Africa, particularly in my country, Cameroon, Southern Cameroon, we just, when somebody just like, it means just give the rounds, right? Give the rounds. They don't bother how they're going to get it tomorrow, whether what, in as much as an African is happy and is in his space. Then you hear the laughter. You hear the queens talk and clap hands, and you hear the kings, they boast up and show the manhood. That's that cultural thing. And you see money flow. They spend it. They don't even worry whether tomorrow. And you see people actually, give out money and then go back on foot. Like they don't even have money again to call the cab. That's the spirit of the African. That's how happy we are. That's how original and authentic. We don't really just worry, because the African doesn't like, in 20 years. And of course, that's why some people are like, you see, that's why we're backwards, because we live for today. We don't live for tomorrow. But I don't think that's it. I think it's a spiritual thing. When we are happy and we are convinced and we are in our space, that spirituality that we keep talking about connects us. And so money is just a matter of paper. Because remember, we are a giving culture. We are trained, we are brought up to give, to share. The biggest thing that we know that is a value for us is giving, is sharing. I mean, when the other systems came with their word and say, oh, it's better to give than to receive, or they're all learning from us. And that's why most of even our cultural ethics have been, termed as corrupt. The idea of giving bribe. We will go into all the ethics and the background of how does it come out that an African is referred to as giving bribe. What is the concept of bribe? How was it in ancient Africa? How does an African consider bribe? They put a word, a term, an English word on it, and it becomes now a demonic word. But if you look at the system in Africa, we are so used to compensating and giving. Anything we give back, we just give somebody something, and it's a thanks. It's a way of appreciation. It doesn't matter what, and you mustn't have to give. You understand? It's a pride. It's a joy for an African to give. I mean, that's where their pride is, knowing that I gave. Not like I give in the kind of like I'm helping the poor. I'm donating without me. Developmental help, aid. No, it's a joy to give. You see one happily giving. When they meet, just look at the weddings. Look at their parties. If you see people sit on that table and they buy a whole cognac, whiskey, brands and names, or you look at the lifestyle, the way they enjoy their life, and we begin to wonder, why is the world always like, these poor people? What makes them laugh all the time? Why are they always happy anyway? We think they're poor, they're underdeveloped. What makes you always so happy? But an African, because we don't know that material world, we never grew up to me, myself, and I, my thing, your thing, my child, my this, my right, my boundaries, my everything, functional. We've always been in the round circle. You look at our architectures, it's been the round, and you hear the village, the community, round tables came from the word from Africa, round tables. We never were static people. We always was round. Look at our food. If it is fufu, it is round. It's never been a square thing. It's never been long, right? If it is achu it's round. If it is given round, if it is sitting around the table, if it is dancing, look at our dance style. We always dance in a rhythm and go round, right? In circles. Why? because that's the way we've been. We've never been a people that are functional, straight going. We've been, it has to be around us, it has to surround us, the spirit has to be in us. And that's why we cannot live without one another. Believe it or not, we're all sick today because we're disenfranchised. We're all traumatized today because we're broken apart. You see, even when we fall apart, you see that that power is not there. Everybody is weak in its own part, because we cannot ever live without one another. Call it pride, call it ego, call it ignorance, call it primitivity, call it anything that you want to name it. That's the African. Our nature is people to people. Even those that have learned structures and want to cut off, it has never worked. It's never functioned. And so there's just nothing that we even have to suffer. If you're suffering, then you just remember, are you alone? Is there too much solitude around you? And then you begin to see, I'm not in my element. There's never been this kind of a lifestyle. That's why you see the continent the way it is. And the only thing is, when we bring this kind of civilization that we're learning to be independent, and that's when you see the real disunity. That's when you see us functional dead zombies, right? The act of sharing a $1 one Africa, I mean, it's just been made by the creator intentionally that everybody should not have on the planet. Do you ever think about that? It doesn't matter if you think I'm the less privileged that I don't have. But if you look at it spiritually, you look at what you have that others don't have that they have. So you see, it's an exchange of material. If I have happiness, to be honest with you, things don't move together. Wealth, too much wealth in happiness, depending on what you call happiness to be. If happiness means, oh, I am surrounded with, I know that I don't have to worry tomorrow to pay my bills. And yes, probably that's happiness. But then you have a worry. The worry is you're not useful. You're not useful. And that's why you see most of all, they begin to do some weird things. Kinder abuse, drug, whatever. I don't need to, you know what I mean? So the more material possessed we are, the more secluded we are. I used to hear my husband said, that's the reason why a Lamborghini has just one seat. Because it's lonely. Look at the people that drive it, the lifestyle. But then you look at the village person that walks on foot and they're in the community and dancing and you see it pass by and you're like, oh my God, I wish to have it. And then the question will be, do you wish to be lonely? And if they're conscious of the fact that to own a Lamborghini is not a bad thing, but also there are consequences that come with it. So choosing a purpose, how you want to live, it means you're conscious of the decisions that you're making. Do I want to be lonely and then being surrounded by what I call happiness? Or do I really just want to have the basics for me and I'm happy with my people because exactly that's where my wealth is? I used to say it a couple of times. The wealth on the continent of Africa is not the natural mineral resources. I don't believe it. I will never believe it. That's not the wealth. The real wealth that, the cosmos has given to us, the people, the happiness, the joy, the music, the theater, the dance, the rhythm, the laughter, Come on. Don't you know spaces where we train people how to laugh? Just to laugh. And when we say that, and people will crack out their bed, but what kind of a laughter that people will laugh onto you, like, is this just something? I mean, I dream when we have our festivals and you see the noise, and that's why they always gave us, an outskirts, a village that is surrounded, because we're so loud. Anyway, they consider us loud. We don't really know so loud. We quality noise, people, quality noise. It means when we're happy, we crack it, we laugh. And we because we're artistic by nature. Even the way we walk, there's a swag in the walk. We don't just walk straight. The way we dance, there's a rhythm in that body. The way we shake our bums, the way we shake our butts, the way we shake our backs. Something is just always active in us. And it already calls for too much attention. The way we walk, the way we talk. Look at the way I'm talking. And it's impossible for Dr. Susan to sit here and just talk like this. I don't know if I'm not agitating or doing some kind of stuff. And like I remember in my at the university, my professor used to like, is it possible that you cannot just talk without, expressing? I said, no, it's not possible. Because that's the spirituality. I mean, what kind of a person just would just straight up and just straight and just talk and not laugh and not make facial expression? And you could see from the interpersonal communication, from the body language, you could see a lot of life, a lot of existence, a lot of sunlight, a lot of love, too much love in this personality. You can see it. He can hide it. He can sugarcoat it. He can wear a mask of sadness. And so when it is in its space, you see it exposed. Now, then they tell you, you're hyperactive. Oh, your children are. They cannot just sit on one place. They can't concentrate. They just too active. And you ask yourself, come on, give me a break. I mean, what kind of a thing would just, am I stoned? Just sit. Stand up, you just stand. Put your head, you just put and stuff. No, it also happens the other way around. So $1, one Africa is that spirit of Africa. I know Elder Marvin is watching me. And I know he was like, let's get it going. Yes, it's okay, Marvin. It's okay, my elder. You are going to be on the show and we will let it. But you see, I'm already just introducing what is coming to us. It's a spirit. It's not about the money. It's not about the coins. It's not about the dollars that we're going to say, oh, this $1. $1 it's not even up to a tip that we give when we go out when we're happy. Remember what I say, we give, we share, when we're happy, when we're convinced, when we are doing it, particularly putting it down for ourselves. Africans don't bother how much they give. That's the reason. Look at even our leadership, no matter how collapsed, no matter how disgruntled people, no matter how disappointed, they still give, they still vote, they still support, they still forgive, they still love, they still like, it's one of us. So we can change from this gift that we've been given, and we should not even try to change. And that's what we keep talking about, our spirituality, our power of unity, our connectivity. The strength in us is more than, it's not even explained. Yeah. And so that is that part, that is that power. That is the power that we're looking forward to have on the Pan African Daily TV. I just had a clean come up, I think a flyer on the show right now. Just drop in, and guess who is sending that flyer and the greetings? Honorable Usman Toure. And saying greetings to all of you on the Pan African Daily TV. You know where he's extending these greetings from? From Nigeria. From Nigeria. And I can see on the flyer, he's been invited to speak at an inauguration ceremony. You know, he's the ambassador for the University of the Gambias. I mean, you could see this young Pan-African. He's sitting on the advisory board of the Africa We Want, my organization. And, just last year and today, he is touring the continent, giving lectures, inspiring young people. Thank you so very much, Usman. I hear you. We hear you. We've sent your flyer. You say you're watching us. Thank you so very much for watching us. Yes, and we can't wait to have you back. Thank you for just even sharing, yes. Thank you. He said the conversations are so motivating. We have to keep up that spirit. Exactly. That's the Pan-Africanism we're talking about. It's not about big lion things. It's just the spirit of Africa. Thank you so very much, Usman. And you tell us more about what you're doing there in Nigeria on these lectures that you're giving out there to the university. And you see, that is it. How do we need to must have? We didn't hear that is the president of Gambia giving those lectures, isn't it? Did we hear that? We didn't hear that is the politician sitting in the parliament and decide, and they have their own work to do, or is the judiciary or the executive. No, it came from a young Pan-African, Osman Toure. I call him the president of the new Africa. Yeah, honorable. He just dropped in this plan and said, I'm watching the Pan-African Daily. I want to share my regards with all of you, that the conversation is moving, it is entertaining, and he is enjoying it. Thank you so very much. And thank you for all of you that have been watching. I mean, it was just like sitting on this program tonight to give you a feedback of what is awaiting us. There's a lot in the background. Structures are coming up like mushrooms. I mean, when we say structures, structures for forward moving action structures. It's not more about, speeches. We've already given too much lectures, and now we're even rebroadcasting on the Pan-African Daily TV. Of course, we're still going to keep our work going, hosting the projects that were here, or the ones that have been existing. I mean, today is this 17th, and I think the conference on the Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Earth Day celebration is in phase 2 today, and the next one is coming out on the 21st. We know it, and I'm humbled. I'll be also a speaker on this great panel, right? Sharing it with big people, I mean, elders and real, true Pan-African in blood and soul. It's an honor to be one of them. So check out on that program. I also had a flyer that came in from the Rapid Africa Plan. And the organizing committee was telling me about their alliance that is coming up. I think they're launching a new alliance called the APPA or something like that. I think I really get it. Yes, I will share the flyer in the coming days. And if possible, we'll be having that team with us to tell us about that event in the coming week. But the event is slated to take place on the 25th. That should be the other Saturday coming up. And so, I mean, that organization, we know it is also a child on the Pan-African Daily TV that was born here. And they've been working so hard, the Rapid Africa Plan. Now they have even their youth summit that they are hosting tomorrow. So please just type in on Rapid Africa Plan, and you would see all the events that are upcoming on that platform. So you can join in on their launching, to listen to the youth. If I have time tomorrow, I'll also be logging in. Like I said, we're not going to be live tomorrow because of the upgrade on our neighborhood internet capacity that was brought down because of the flood in Germany. And so the whole of Germany, particularly some parts are actually suffering through that, and we're going to see that coming up a lot on the Pan-African Daily, that we might shift some live programs, but our rebroadcasting of past programs are always still going to be there. I want to give a big shout out to Glendon, who is watching us right there from the Gambias, and say, yes, Susan, I'm watching you right now. In the Gambians, I've been in Gambia, I think for 6 months, right? You repatriated, and I've been hearing only good stories from out there. Thank you so very much. I also want to give a very, very big shout out to Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy called me this afternoon and said, Dr. Susan, you know what? I just did a job and I've dropped 40 euros in the Pan-African Daily TV bank account, and he sent me a screenshot of it. Wow. And this is not the first time Johnny Boy and many others have been doing it. I really, truly appreciate you. On the behalf of our team, all of us, we are working day and night to create a platform for all Pan-African initiatives in the diaspora and on the continent. And this is the organization that we call the Africa We Want. So you see, when we launch and we start talking about the Africa We Want, and we encourage the young people to build groupings, to build organizations, to form themselves into group. Remember, we're going to rebroadcast that show when we officially had said every community that you people, I can remember when we had Her Excellency Dr. Arikana Chikomboriko and many others who came and said, start grouping yourselves. And that idea came from Professor James Small, who said, if we start in little study groups, we're going to get there. And now I can guarantee you there are more than thousands of organizations that have been born since last year. We're talking about the organic African paradigm. Of course, these are all projects that gave birth last year. We're talking about even ACOOP. ACOOP has just been recently officially launched, and they are recruiting, young Pan-African that are politically inclined, and they want to form this intercontinental organization, just really focusing on politics. But we also have state 55 nations, and this one already had been in the background, but resurfaced. How many projects? So we have farm, they call it farm, yes, HAPAPFAM, FAO in the diaspora, and the ones that we were talking about launching the Pan-African Congress in on the continent next year, or this year, I think next year, yes. And we had the team that came here with Elder Jomé Faye of Senegal, all these professors that came out here to talk about us. What is it that we don't know? We know about the UNI that actually also, rebirth. We know about the United States of Africa platform. What is it that we don't know? What is it that we don't know? Well, today we know about the PLO Lumumba Foundation. We know about the ADDI. These are mammoth structures that we don't even need to call their names anymore. And everybody just know what it's all about. All Pan-Africans, they know it, right? But then the one thing that we are looking, like we were talking about, we need a platform. When we say a platform, it doesn't mean that creating an app that well. No, we just need an umbrella where all the Pan-African organizations would register. Just register. The first criteria, you have to, first of all, be a registered organization in your country of origin. That's the first criteria to even be a member on the Africa We Want organization, right? And because we want to focus on culture and our history and the media, these 3 points is getting into the communities and fishing out these Pan-African gurus, the warriors, the young women, the mothers, every other person that is just doing anything, be it in agriculture, be it in just handcraft, anything that they can do. And we gather and rally them in their communities and begin to see how we push forward, supporting one another. $1, one Africa. Remember. And so imagine we're going to multiply all these banks on the continent. $1, one Africa in your local currency where you are. Tell me, what else do we need? We're never going to stretch out our hands like the beggars and say, oh, you know what, please, we need investors. Of course, maybe there will be investors in the future, but we will have to look at those criteria. The community would sit down and look at your personality first, your values, the spirit in you, if it is even worth that we take your money. That is the spirit of Africa. I mean, and we know it. Now, is it me that is saying it? You can quote me everywhere, but that's the way it was. A proud African, if he doesn't know you why you're giving in something, they will not take it. It doesn't matter even if they are the least beggar, they'll tell you no. We are not just that kind of people, oh, because people come and they flash us, oh, I'm coming from this, I'm coming from the diaspora, I have this, and people get excited. Give me a break. They will host you on the continent. They would feed you. They will give you space. They're happy to just have you diaspora. They will share the space with you. We always, like you see, COVID is one of the reasons why they even say, oh, the Africans will, be the highly affected. Why? Because we're the groupings. And if it's a pandemic, it's a pandemic that is spreading in a group. So who are the people that would be affected? Groups. We live in our homes, not one person here. You live in a 3-bedroom, then you have to be 3 people. Right. In Africa, oh, come on. It's a whole village. It's a community. You just branch, enter into a neighbor's house, you have food to eat, and you don't even need to say, I'm coming tomorrow. It's just say, hello. And they will be begging you even. And you know this attitude of, if you don't even eat, it's an abuse. I mean, I don't know how much more we can be so proud of just being this Africa. Do you even know the Africa you're talking about? When you see people going crazy, when you see people giving their whole soul and their life and say, you know what, Do whatever you want. You will never take that African of me. It's these little petty things that nobody's talking about, that we ourselves are ashamed of, that we ourselves look at them and say, it is not development. Wow. It is. I can give you every single reason why the minerals that they're talking about is not the wealth of Africa. The diamonds, the mines, whatever. It's not. It is you. It is that spirit that no matter if I'm rich and I'm not African, I never would have it. That is it. That's the wealth of the African. Be it on the continent, be it in the diaspora. You've seen 400, 500 years, decades that people have been, you can never take it away from them. They still act the way their ancestors left. Generations, even though we say, oh, Black Americans, Caribbeans, Haitians, Brazilians, Mexicans, Black Europeans, and this, they are Europeanized. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. Why we're still singled out in any part of the world is because we have never changed to be who we are. If really we were integrated, we will not be talking about racism today. We weren't. Racism is the attitude that somebody wants you to be him. And because you're not like him, then they begin to manifest that, discomfort. Just around, it's some fear. And then you feel it like, I'm not wanted. Some signs don't make me belong. And even if I struggle to belong, I am not accepted. It's because you remain unique. You're just unique. And so when I look at some things that, we're talking about the racism, I said, forget, that's a distraction. It would always exist for decades upon decades because you are never going to change to be somebody else. You are just as unique as you are going to be. Your ancestors, your DNA, your color, even no matter you peel it up, your manner of talking, your loudness, your body language, your dance, your joy, your laughter, your happiness, your love. Nobody can take it away. And you think you're going to solve it by let's sit down and negotiate these things. And then you have to be different. Absolutely. You have to be different. So you see why some fight are not healthy for us. We leave it there because we would never change who we are. And then we just focus on our own space and push forward the things that actually are our strength. And so if somebody is jealous because you laugh, laugh. If somebody is really just jealous because you're together, please stick together until, right? And you see all these break-ins and, oh no, we're civilized now. I can't take this. I can't do this. We can do it because the strength has been given to us upon us to do it. And until somebody taught you that it means something else, then you understand it in that context. Then you begin to feel inferior. Then you begin to adopt it. Then you begin to say, this is not my way of life. Then you begin to hate your afro, the kinky. Then you begin to hate your nose. Then you begin to hate your color. Then you begin to hate your fabrics. I'm not saying we cannot be diverse. Wear anything you want to wear. It's not going to change you. No. But the question is, if you hate your own and prefer something else, that is a problem. When people talk and like, we must dress in the fabrics. Of course, if you're happy and it goes well on you and is suiting, beautiful. We love it. Why not? But the lesser we don't, so we don't promote the market. It's an economic thing. So that's the reason why when we say we have to, it doesn't mean that the fact that you wear it makes you that. How many of them we know, the coconut, like King Maponga is saying, no matter how they wear it, and you have this mindset, okay, because it's an official thing and it's an African gathering, then I wear an African colorful something, and then it has to be, I am cultured. I am, address African now. Like we see even the weddings in everywhere, because you wear the clothes, now you are culturally. Yes, visuals, fine, ceremony, the dance, that's a step to our Afro consciousness. But the brain and the mind, if I'm still going to do that, dance at all those things, and still go to worship a God that doesn't look like me, or doesn't, eh, or follow some systems that I wasn't taught, then my cloth means nothing. Me just wearing this means nothing. Me just being in a kinky means nothing at all, right? Because I'm just, you know, an image. I'm just entertaining. But my mind is still where it's not supposed to be. And that's why we say the mind is the first. So it doesn't matter what you wear, but your mind, if your mind is there, automatically we will just see it anyway. They wouldn't even have to tell you. So you wouldn't have to have occasions. I look like the Islamic culture and the Muslims. They wear their sarong and they wear their hat. The women, they wear their turbans and they wear year in, year they out. Whether it's winter or it's summer or what time of the year. It's the mind. If I have to trade off, I'm civilized, I was brought up, and I brought up other things, and my mind is still not there, then I begin to diversify. It's also a lifestyle. Why not? But my mind is what matters. I think I have been able to not waste your time and whet your appetite for you not having our elder here on the show with us tonight. I hope you were just not disappointed to keep hearing my voice, to keep seeing my face. You're tired. I know you're tired of saying the same things. And, I'm so sorry for that. I love those who are saying, no, I can just not be tired. Dr. Tata. Cheryl is saying, Dr. Tata, you're beautiful. I see the glory of God shining through you. Exhort my sister. Loving this. You see, Cheryl. Thank you. Thank you, my queen. Yes. Drop those comments. Like I said, the lines are open if you want to share this beautiful day with me on the Pan African Daily, whether you're watching from the continent and you have something positive, something that is different, that is unique in your neighborhood. Let's talk about this conversation and how we see it, and how we even, winkle and look at one another the way we walk and pass by. Then they start saying we're not civilized. Oh, we are womanized. Oh, our men cannot take off their eyes from the backs of their black queens. And so what? What should they be looking at? I ask every time, what should they be looking at? I mean, isn't this crazy? And then they say, you see, that's why they will not develop, because it's all about womanization. It's all about, that's why the continent is not developing. It's a fat lie. Who doesn't want to be looked upon? And what should our men be looking at? Hey, what should they be looking at? If they're not looking at their queens, they're not looking at those, they're not looking at their kinkies, the smile, the everything. What should absolutely they be looking at? What? And you see, and then because of that, we begin to disorientate. Then I look at somebody that is like me and we say, now we make a pair. I mean, I cannot even admire something that is me again. It has to be something opposite. Has to have some muscles, has to have something. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's all about our minds. It's all about who we are. It's about the things that we do that others cannot do, that they get jealous and then they demonize it. And then we call it now, it's a brainwash. And then we call it now, oh, you know what? It's because we are uncivilized. And then I ask myself, if civilization is what I see, is what I hear every day, it's the disunity. It's not never talking without each other. It's me, myself, and I. It's I have money more than you. It's I have this more than you. Or I'm just comfortable living in the neighborhood and every other person is suffering. Oh my goodness. Have you ever thought about that? That's the most sick thing that any other person could wish himself. And so we just consider, all right, being in the dimension look like me, but something else is inside there. It's not the thing that we say the creator made in his image, in his light, the dimension. The sun that wakes up every morning shines on you, give you laughter. Eh? The calm sleep that you go to bed, knowing that you wake up tomorrow. Even when you don't wake up tomorrow, you still get up, energized, and it takes you there. That thing can never be the thing that will make at you look at your brother and hate. Never. That thing can never be the thing that I would like to be lonely, sit on my table alone, eat myself, do my grill alone, go to bed alone. And then, what? How? With this 1 point, how many? 3 trillions of us on the continent. And I'm here, and you are there, and they are there, and we learn always the wrong things. Come on, always the wrong things, always the things that divide us in called some kind of civilization. I think about the village. I still go back to where my heart beats. I think about the village. I think about the market square. I think about the noise in the compound, right? I think about even the quarrels. Do you know how sweet it is? You miss some of these things. And these are not dangerous things. They are not more than the guns and the bullets that we kill each other. Even if we quarrel, we disagree, right? No, we don't talk to one another for some time. And so what? And so what? But it's not bombs. It's not killing one another. It's not incarcerating. We're not the one carrying our brothers and locking them up so that they are disenfranchised, they are disconnected from their families, and so the children will grow single. It's not us that have those plans. And so we can womanize, we can have a fun, we can do whatever we want to do, but we are not like that. We don't plan to execute, to break one another. It's a spirit. It's a kind of a spirit, and we don't even know it. We don't even know it. And so for me, as a tip forward, just do the opposite. Do the opposite. Just do the opposite. If I say civilization means this, do the opposite of that. And you will see that's where the silver lining is. That's where the joy, the happiness, the love, the unity. I mean, the taste of life is there. It is there. And that taste of life tells you, know me without you. Ubuntu. Know me without you. I can't. My heart cannot go on. You know all these movies and the songs. It cannot. I will stop breathing. No. So that is actually what brings us the trauma of we have been disconnected and we enjoy the disconnectivity. We love it and we call it the happiness, and we call it I'm looking for my happiness in some places where it doesn't exist. If you don't have it with you, you cannot look for it outside. You need to have it. So you can't look for it somewhere else. You can't give what you don't have. We've been hearing it all the time. And you can fetch it somewhere else when you yourself don't have. And so you'll be begging and looking for everything. I'm looking for riches. An example. We're looking for jobs because I want to be rich. Because you have the riches on you, African child. You're born with it. And nobody can take it from you. Now you leave it and you want go looking for it. How can you get what you have? Doesn't work. And then we begin to, we are poor. Our continent is poor. They tell us it's a poverty mentality. This poverty is only in your brain. Doesn't exist. Because those some very people are the one that they admire the riches that you are. I know it. I'm a victim of too much riches. Yes. I mean, if you know how much my world around me, my community, projects that I've built, know how rich I am. And exactly that is the riches of the African. When you have people, when people are always, testy, hanging around you, they just love your aura. They just love being around you. The spirit is inviting, it's comfortable. Children hang around you, they climb on you, they play with you. I remember when we were growing up, we never knew something like, oh, this is a boy's room, this is a girl's room. Till today, we slept on the same bed. When I go back home on my mother's bed, and we would hug each other, and all of us, and you see the boy child will be sleeping in that. Even my brothers, they're all grown up, they have their families, they have their children. We go back home in the compound, we are still going to do the same thing till the kingdom, till afterlife. And that is it. I mean, what does it mean? We sit and think, you have siblings out here, and then we go back to a continent. We're coming back from a compound, and everybody, oh, this is my house, this one, this is my place, this one, this is my place. And now you just bring back that contagious disease of disunity that we've learned out here to be civilization. And it's mine, it's my place, it's my desk. No, compound. And that's the strategy of the $1 One Africa that Elder Marvin is bringing. Compound. The spirit of being in the compound. How can you hate noise if you're human? How on earth can you just hate noise? How can you hate good music? How can you hate, how can you not like to look at the woman, beautiful woman, a beautiful king, black king that passes around? How can you not look? Oh, how can you be just human? And you don't look, and you don't admire, and you don't compliment, and you don't like, oh my God, how I wish. And you see why they talk about polygamies and the systems are like, it's a very bad system. And I like what King Maponga said on the men's summit in South Africa 2021. And he said, like, all men are polygamous. You just look, you're already one. You already won. Women alike. Who tells you doesn't happen? And we are going to ancient history to know that we had been a being that did not have both different until the civilization came. A female and masculine energy was one. And so there was no difference between, it's the man that has the women, or it's the women that has the man. The harmony, in as much as it doesn't even bring anything, particularly these are systems that bring more unity, more children, more progress, more love, more development, more population growth. So why should it be a primitive attitude? Why? How? So opposite of opposite of civilization, opposite of wealth. Look at the things that tell you this is wealth, and look at the opposite of those things that is wealth. Look at the things that tell you this is the true way, and look at the things that are opposite to that true way. Because it's all had been something that doesn't add up. I am rich, come from a rich continent. They tell me minerals, they tell me this, they tell me this, and then somebody's gonna say, who claims he's not? I'm the one aiding you. I have to aid you. I have to feed you. I have to tell you how you have to. I have to start putting you even in a kindergarten where you're still small. I haven't even known your gift that you brought from the creation, from the creator as a child. I haven't even had that time for 3 months, for 3 years, for 5 years. My mom used to tell me they would know you're right for school when you would send your hand and your hand would touch your ear. Then they know you're right to go to school. So they must have enjoyed you, shared that. You must have known the smell of your mother, of your father, known all your siblings. Even run and go and fetch water and come and still, take breast milk. You must have known all those things. Then they say, okay, he has at least learned the basics. What humanity is, what being together is, what being attached is. Then now we can then let him to go. But it's a toddler. And you're already disenfranchised. Doesn't know your smell. Doesn't know how you look like. And we put all this cling, bling, bling in front of them. They sing some music. When we have the best voices to just sing a lullaby, tell a story, like our oral history. That's how now we have to read bed stories. Whose stories? Somebody wrote his dreams, wrote her vision, and you take and read up to your children and read in your community. And we said that was our literature, that was our history. You know how our parents did it? Our ancestors did it. We just sat at it and they would tell you, oh, you know, your grandmother used to do this. Oh, when I met her in love at the riverside, you know, she used to, and her hair, I loved it. And, you know, we did this. Do I need to go to a marriage counselor to really tell me if we fit? If no, a compatibility gene. Oh, God. No, they don't match. No, the backgrounds, the status, now they don't fit. Now it even wasn't meant for us. It was not in our bloodline. Ah, really? Ah, share. Where is it coming from? We never knew that in ancient Africa. They didn't even know. They did just some words that we use today did not exist. Marriage counseling. We only knew when we're going to be given a hand into marriage, your mother will be saying, I don't want to see you come here one day with a complaint. And even in the lectures, when they won't tell you, oh, have you done your homework today? Have you just, your dad just need to come home and just make a noise and everything is in place. Our educational systems, the way we did, they didn't even need to, you just see the long thing hanging there, you just know what it is. And oh no, traumatized, not a good attitude. Yes, some of them are actually not productive to us, let's be honest, but it functioned. And so we can modernize it. We can take those, but it doesn't just mean no, it never worked. And then I just dump it and then I have to learn something new that I've never known, that is not part of me. And I don't even have the means and the structure to do that. Won't work. Won't. Let's go back to our village market. You come here into a shop, designer, $1,000, and you just move and pay. You don't even have somebody. Oh, and the worst thing, you go to supermarkets now. You just talk with the machines. Take your things alone, put into your bargain, go to the, put your card, and a ticket comes out. Then you go and you just go. And that's a lifestyle. And that's a civilization where people are being extinguished. Machines are replacing us. You talk to your ATM card, tells you, I have this amount. You go to our local community centers. How much do I have in my day? Oh, mommy, you have this and this. Oh, Baba, no, you have this and this. Oh, I want to take this. Okay, mommy, wait. Just that communication. You're human. I go to a bank, I put this, and I get this out. I don't talk to anybody. So my mouth is going to even smell. Nobody tells you, oh, Susan, you look beautiful. I like your hair. I like your smile. Oh, I like you. Nobody looks at you. The machines will start looking at you, talking to you, complimenting you, giving you a handshake. And we call that civilization. No, we're going back. Let them call us primitive. Call us whatever you want to call. And if you've been so civilized into it, thank you. Come back home. Go and let us bath you. Like in Nigeria, they will say, in that river. And so that your senses can come back. That's how an African mother like me would say. I would go and bath you in the river of your ancestors and your senses will come back. Oh no, here, we have to go to a therapy, to go to a counselor. And the counselor takes the same books, take the same people, like Reverend Ninana was saying. I love his seminars where he's saying it because it's just practical. And the same people. And then they tell you the same, and you have 10 seminars to do, or 10, and you go, you say, just say everything, and then they, okay. No. The tadpoles in this river will take out those things, will take out those toxics when you bathe there. The stones in the river, we used to play these songs in the water in the river, and you hear the sounds, and we used to say they are the gods of the water. They're the goddess of the water. But what kind of dimensions do we have? What kind of elements do we have on earth? Don't we have water? Don't we have air? Don't we have earth? And where are they found? And how do you connect to them if we don't go to the rivers? We go to the river. And when the rains on the mountains and the rains, the thick rains are falling on our zinc. Oh my God. You hear the romance. 5 o'clock in the evening. And my mother would, It's time to go to the farms. And you see us like, what? Not again. Because it's just so sweet. You don't want to even wake up. And these stories, you can only get it in the place where spirituality connects one another. And it's not given to any other race. Call it whatever. Call it primitivity. Yes, we agree. But in as much as it makes us human, keeps us happy, we are connected. We are not me, myself, my, oh, you have this, I don't have. Oh, you do this, I don't do. Oh, I'm in my lane, you're on your lane. Oh, I'm better off than you. Oh, my children went to this school. And then they even came and brought, oh, this is a boys' school. This is a girls' school. Why? Education. And look at how we're confused today. And we want to make it better. Making it better is just accepting that it happened this way, and I'm going to be so happy in my element. I don't need too much. If I have too much, I have to share. You know how miserable it is when somebody doesn't ask you for help? Have you ever had that feeling that somebody doesn't ask you for help? Do you know how miserable you are? Do you know how, you can say it doesn't matter, or you give it with some kind of arrogance, but it is a problem if people don't even ask you. Just ask. Just somebody asking you to give is a privilege for you, that they even chose you to ask you. Do you know what that is? I sound crazy right now, yes. But those are the facts, those are the elements that connect us until you feel that spirit of having the privilege to give. Looking for somebody to just even ask. Even when I don't have, then I like, oh, really? I would have loved to have. And then I look for how I can have. Then I look, oh, who has more? Then let me take it from those that have more and give it to those that don't have. And then we have that balance, this principles of my art, like we keep saying. And that's what we do on the Pan-African Daily. And that's what we're going to do on the Africa We Want. Take it from those that are up. Take it from, we are in the middle, and we connect to the bottom. And then we have that balance in the middle. Right? Let the politicians tell us what they want to say. But if they can put us, give us that money, it's a taxpayer money, we put it in the projects, in the agriculture, we train our young people, we give them access to knowledge. There's going to be a time, this money, nobody will even ask. You give, nobody will take. Do you know how miserable that you're a rich man and nobody comes to ask you for something? You organize something, nobody's there. Enough people, and you look at it and you say it's a lifestyle. I'm limited. I want only particular. In Africa, we call it gate crashing. If you make a party, you make a wedding, you make, any community, and people don't get crashed, you're a bad man. Call it civilization, my foot. You're a bad man. I want to give just special, because there will be so much crowd, and then there will not be enough food. And people will not have enough to eat. And then my guests, I just want to get tailor-made, and then I satisfy them. And because you know what? A lot of people will go and they don't appreciate you. They abuse you. Why am I suffering and doing this? Did you create yourself to be here? Ain't you lucky? Ain't you happy that you even have somebody that wants to eat your food? There are a lot of people you give, they don't take. They say, I'm sorry. Would you eat it alone? We have a proverb that says, you can feed the village. You can cook food and feed the village. But if the village cooks and feed you, would you eat alone? Would you? So we need to be grateful. That is called gratitude for being alive, for being on this universe, for me and you sharing these platforms, for me and you connecting. It doesn't matter how boring, how you're tired of seeing me, how you're tired of hearing me. But the one little thing that you have to understand is I'm still important as you see me now, as I'm here. Sometime, very soon, you'll be watching only my rebroadcast and like, oh, Dr. Susan was like, I'm here right now. You're there right now, right? And that's the most precious thing, because you can get just one call and your life changes. I've had 2 calls this week. And in my family, I have 2 cops that are lying now in the mortuary. And I got only 1 call. Only 1 call. I'm just talking this 3 days. 1 call changed the whole thing. Another call changed the whole thing. So it's so simple. It's like a clap, right? You can be happy now. And then after the show, Pan African Daily Show, and then tomorrow, oh, Susan passed on. And she will not be coming again on the show. And everybody like, oh, Dr. Susan, oh, she was so nice. Oh, she used to make a Don't do it tomorrow. Do it now. Okay. I wish you all a happy evening. Like I said, Professor James Moore is not going to be on tonight. It is our fault. It is because of the internet that is being upgraded in our communities that were affected by the flood in Germany. And we don't know how long this is going to take, but we'll be doing a rebroadcast. We're going to broadcast the show, same show with Professor James Small. I think he was on that show with Dr. Wade Nobles. He was also on with Dr. Jeffries. There were 3 on that show. We're going to rebroadcast it tomorrow, so don't miss it. It is always a pleasure to listen to our elders, particularly the ones that actually speak truth to power, the ones that respect our integrity, the ones that don't charge us to come on our show, the ones that are happy to just share this wonderful moment because they know how useful and precious it is, right? So make it a date tomorrow. Yeah. And like I said, I thank all of you for being here. It's always important, yes, for us to be here. And I really just thank all of you. It has been a solo show. I didn't get any call, probably because, we enjoyed listening to one another. I don't think it's because nobody wanted to call, but I think nobody wanted to interrupt the information that we were sharing. And remember, it's a gift from our ancestors. Everything that I share here, it just comes from my spirit. I don't have any script. Look, I keep pens and paper sometime and hold it when I have guests in case there's some things that I have to note, books or links or something. I don't sit and memorize and look for things and then I give questions and answer. It's a spiritual thing. What comes from my mind, I say it. Most of all, I apologize sometimes if I say something that did not go the way you think. And I always say, just throw out that ones. Don't even remember them. But the ones that you thought were useful and that was necessary, take it along with you. And if you think there's also a neighbor that might have loved to hear this gospel tonight, please, Pan-African Gospel tonight, share it. And if you think you haven't subscribed and you always have been waiting and thinking, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, please just click the link now and subscribe. And if you also think, all right, Dr. Susan doesn't say we should donate, and then please, our text is scrolling there. And I like to say, you can subscribe to a membership on the Africa We Want. $1 if you want instantly. If you want to say, okay, I want to make a commitment and do it monthly, and so I would not need to, fine. If you say I want to do it annually and I give an amount, fine. It all depends on you. What is it that you want to see more on the Pan-African to keep it alive, to keep it going? It is not even only keeping it going. What is it that your donation can help us when a child is in need, someone is in need, and we have a lot of them because they see us on the show, connecting to you people and see your donations coming in, always reaching out, say, oh, Dr. Susan, I haven't paid my fee. Oh, Dr. Susan, I'm having these difficulties. And most of them, we've never seen them. We don't know them. They're not my relative. They're not yours, but we are all one. And so when we always have that, and then we can also reach out to support, and we've been doing it. We don't need to come and be telling you here. You can just feel it. Right? And we are all accountable for everything that we do. If you manipulate truth, it's going to stand there and give it back to you. So never mind anything that you want to contribute or to submit or to be a member of the Africa We Want. We'll be launching it next week if everything works, that we're complete with those. And so you can get your membership straight there. Why do I not call this donations here? Because of the charges, supercharge, they take 30% of you. I think it's unfair because you're giving a 50 and the 15 is going to support the work, but then we get 5 and 10 is off. So, taking it in some other way. And I really don't advise. Yeah. But if you feel like and say, why not? We're also using their platforms. We're creating content and we're sharing a conversation. Why not? It's also a gift. It's still your choice to make. But like I said, we have our organization account that is there. I mean, it won't charge you anything. So I want to thank you. I hope the information came across and you felt the same way that I felt. Just keep on loving one another, sharing that happiness and this beautiful moment. We might just have one call and everything becomes different. So I wish you a good night. And we are going to rebroadcast. And you watch out for the flyers. We will be live. You will always see coming up live. Coming up live means I would be live with the guest. But if you see a rebroadcast, then you know it's a show that we are rebroadcasting for new followers and people who enjoyed it and watch it and watch it. I watch all my shows every day, every time. Each time I'm just relaxing, I watch all the guest speakers because that's how I learn. And so you can do it as well. You can share it with one another. And please watch out. We will be back live again anytime soon, probably on Tuesday or on Monday, depending on how you see our communication. So don't forget to click subscribe and the notification bell and get our newsletter. We see us. Happy weekend to you. Bye. Ubuntu love. Bye-bye. You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want. Unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.